Right, perks of trying to get the right angles and get everything sorted for the YouTube video I want. Do you know what I mean? Got to test the microphone and all of that. God, you call me by my name. The love you give me, I just can't deny. Yeah. No longer blinded, I can see you. I'm on my way to meet you. We gotta talk. Feels good to be back. What is up, guys? It's Tajay, and I'm back again with another video for you guys. I hope you guys are all doing well. Me, I'm doing great, but I had the flu for the last few days, so I've been coughing and doing all of that rubbish. So I do apologize. The video was supposed to be out yesterday, but posting it today instead. Before I go any further, I just want to thank all of those that have been subscribing recently. I know I do this every video, but it's only right that I thank you guys because you guys didn't have to press the subscribe button and you still did. So thank you. Honestly, thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I noticed a lot of you are coming from like the short form content. So thank you. And thank you so much to all those that have watched the last video where I spoke about my autism and delved right into it and dissected each topic down. Like, honestly, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I received great reception from that video, so it does really mean a lot to see a lot of people having my back and being so understanding. If you haven't watched that video, I will put it up here somewhere, or I'll even link it. But I generally recommend that you watch that video before you watch this one, or else it may be a bit difficult to understand a lot of the things I'm talking about. But yeah. So what is it like to be an autistic Christian? What's it like having autism, going to church all the time and so on and so forth? Well, for those that don't know, I actually grew up in a Pentecostal church. Well, no, tell a lie. I actually grew up in a Baptist church, so there wasn't much noise, there wasn't much this, there wasn't much that. Like it was quite, it kind of had that, it had that holy, calm feeling, like silent night, holy, like it had that type of feeling towards it. So like there wasn't a lot of drums that were bashing and playing and tambourines and instruments. Like it was mellow sounding or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. If you've been to a Baptist church, you get what I'm saying. But yeah. So I wasn't around a lot of noise and all of those instruments playing when I was younger. I only moved to the Pentecostal church, the church that I've been serving for the last 10 or so years. I've only been there for about, actually, no. I moved there in 2013, I believe, and we started going consistently since 2015. So it's been going there for about 10 years now, and it's a Pentecostal church. Now, being autistic, I struggled a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I struggled a lot with the noise, especially with the preaching. I found it so hard, and when I was younger, I used to have a little iPad, and me and my little brother would literally play a FIFA game on the iPad whilst the preaching was going on. I know it's not good, but that was my way of trying to like distract myself from the loud preaching, because like, obviously when guys are preaching in a Pentecostal church, they're loud with it, like they're really trying to get their message across. So it's understandable. But looking back on it, when I was younger, I just did not like noise. I did not like shouting. So I would do anything I could to try and distract myself from that. Whereas now, I've obviously gotten a bit more understanding with that, so it doesn't distract me as much. But obviously, if somebody's preaching like at the top of their very lungs to a point where they really want to get heard, it low key does affect me a bit. Not gonna lie to you, but yeah. So dealing with autism in church. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, I only found out I had autism at around mid 2023. So about a year and a bit now, I've known that I've had it. However, um, before the pandemic happened, I always found it hard to just do the bare minimum, like having eye contact with people when you're talking to them and engaging in conversations and try not to look awkward, because I knew I had that kind of awkward look towards me, and I never knew why I had that awkward look. And obviously, since I've been diagnosed, it all makes sense now, of course. But because of that, I felt like I just couldn't fit in with a lot of the youth at the time. And I knew that I liked things that I knew that they didn't like or would find weird. So I always found it weird to low key fit in with the youth. However, I did. And as I mentioned, I used to try to do things that I knew just wasn't me, and so on and so forth, just to fit in and just to have a little, be involved in a clique or whatever. But nowadays I still do find it hard, and like there always would be times where sometimes in praise and worship I just want to sit down, just listen to the music play, listen to the drums, listen to the piano, listen to the guitar, the bass, guitar. Like sometimes I just sit down. I'm not always jumping up and saying hallelujah, hallelujah and waving my hands. Like sometimes I just like to sit down and enjoy the music. But a lot of people look at that and they're thinking, what's wrong with him? He's been like that for the whole service. But really and truly, like sometimes I just like to have my quiet time with God, and sometimes for me that's in the church. But yeah, there are times where I'm not as vocal as I usually may be in church. And again, people will look at that and think there's something wrong with him. Are you sure everything's okay? This, that, and whatever. And really and truly, this comes back to the whole thing with elders educating themselves and knowing that things like autism and ADHD, they exist. You know, it's not just a demonic attack from the enemy or whatever. It's actually something that people struggle with. It's actually a hidden disability, but a lot of elders don't educate themselves with that information, so they don't know that these things happen to a lot of young people. And I can't sit here and blame all elders, because some elders actually have been taking the time out to know that these things are affecting a lot of young people today. However, the main majority don't know that these things can actually affect people. But how I've been dealing with it in church recently, not gonna lie, it is kind of hard because you have your good days and you have your bad days. Good days, I'm always smiling, always in a good mood, always happy to chat with someone. And then the bad days, sometimes I just want to go home as soon as church is done. I don't even want to have a conversation with nobody. Sometimes I just want to go straight home. And like, unfortunately, with me, my facial expressions show very much strongly in my face. So if I am not feeling the best, it would definitely be shown on my face. And I can fake it for a little bit, even though it's wrong. But if I'm not okay, I'm not okay. But I just feel like majority of the time, people would look at you and think, "There's always something wrong with this guy, man. He's never been happy since he was a youth." Da, 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 da. Really and truly, like imagine, instead of just sitting there complaining about how someone may look, think about what they're going through, bro. There's a reason why they look like that. And, like, there's many times I've just been sick and tired of having to deal with like those little subtle comments, because I have heard it from people before, even people that are close to me. So it does hurt. Why are these men doing like fireworks? It does hurt to hear it, but at the same time, like I've gotten to get over it now. I've just learned to get over it, so it doesn't really affect me as much. However, it is kind of hard dealing with these things. But the main question is like, how do you deal with getting over these things as an autistic Christian in the church? Like, how do you deal with it? What's the main solution? And again, it's the same solution with any single thing that you may be struggling with. Always run back to God. It will always result in prayer. Only God can genuinely help with how you're feeling, because when I deep it more and more, like especially as an autistic person, for you to sit down and confide in someone and trust them and tell them what you're going through personally on a personal level, at the same time you have that discernment and you're like, I don't know if I can really trust you. And then sometimes it makes you think like, right, I can't trust nobody. It kind of feels like I'm alone. But we have to strongly remind ourselves that we are not alone, and it's very easy to sit there and think that you are alone, but you have to remind yourself that you're not, because God is there. God is there to listen to us. God is there to listen to how we're feeling. Sometimes it may feel like people don't give a flying saucer about what you're going through, but God wants all that. He wants to hear everything that's going on with you, from the highs to the lows. He wants to hear everything, and like we can only express that through prayer. We can only express that through reading the Bible. And not gonna lie, me personally, I find it hard to read my Bible because I've never been able to sit down and read as a kid. Don't get me wrong, I can read. I did good in like English and all of that, but in terms of actually sitting down and reading a book, find it hard to sit still and do one thing for a long time. So I can get fidgety. So I find it hard doing those things. But praying I will always do. But yeah, it will always result in going back to God. So if you're ever finding yourself in a situation where you're like, there's really nobody here. Remember, God is there. Remember, God is there to hold your hand through this, bro. And if it even feels like He's having to baby you to guide you to go where you need to go, it has to be like that in order for you to grow higher. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap the video up here because I don't want to talk too much to the point where I'm just waffling a whole bunch of nonsense. But hopefully you guys understood where I was coming from, and hopefully this resonates with some of you that have the same hidden disabilities or going through the same thing. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to like, subscribe. Let's get to 100 subscribers before February, and I will catch you guys in the next video. God bless you all. Stay safe and peace.